So Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice has been receiving seriously poor reviews, and after watching the movie, it might deserve them. But is it just a bad movie, or are there other things surrounding it that made it what it is? So let me start by going over what was good about this movie, because the movie wasn't completely terrible. It had its moments of wonderful superhero epicness. The cinematography, headed up by DP Larry Fong, was absolutely gorgeous. The lighting, set design were beautiful, especially when they weren't shoving completely CG scenes in my face. It was good, especially some of the confrontations between Batman and Superman. Absolutely beautiful. Also, the cast was not bad. We have the main people back from Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams. We have some newcomers. In this movie, we have Ben Affleck as Batman, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think they all did well. None of them really wowed me in the roles they were in, but overall, I was satisfied with it. So here's some of the problems. Even before this movie is projected on screen, it is immediately backpedaling. Years of Marvel superhero movies and a stellar Batman trilogy have preceded this movie. And not only that, but if DC wants to catch up to Marvel, they've got to get a Justice League as fast as humanly possible. That means this movie has to have a ton of useless characters in main roles or in cameos so that we can shove towards Justice League as fast as possible. On top of that, Batman v Superman's budget has been said to have surpassed $400 million. That puts it in contention to be one of the most expensive movies ever made. With stakes like that, people better come out to see this movie. And now this is where the movie's problems really begin. The hype and anticipation for this movie has extended for years prior. Little pieces of confirmed information stir the pot of comic book movie nerds like myself on what the movie would be like, what we could expect, and things like that. Then the first trailer is released, and everybody freaks out and does the usual thing that everybody does when a first trailer gets released. But then the second trailer gets released, and it spoils the entire movie. It shows Batman and Superman teaming up. It shows Wonder Woman teaming up with them. It shows Doomsday. It hints at the fact that Lex Luthor built Doomsday. It hints at the fact that Doomsday comes from Zod. So basically, the second trailer just becomes a 2-minute version of the actual movie and doesn't leave much up to the imagination. It was at this point that I started to doubt that this movie was going to be good. So now we're going into this movie with all these big executives constantly focused on making money in the next movies. We have a crazy budget for this movie and an extremely overhyped fan base. This is not the recipe for a successful movie. So now I start to watch this movie and I notice the very, very long build-up. Tensions are high between Batman and Superman. We get it. Can we see them fight, please? That's why all these people are here. We're here to see them fight. If the build-up isn't bad enough, this movie commits the unpardonable sin. Now, this sin has become a more recent thing in movies. I first noticed it in Age of Ultron. The trailer gets dropped for Avengers Age of Ultron, and in that trailer, we see the Captain America shield cracked in half fully, and we see Thor's hand laying there, and everybody's like, whoa, and then we get to the movie, and it's just a vision of Tony Stark's. Fast forward to Star Wars The Force Awakens, and in the second trailer of that, we see Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren standing in the rain, surrounded by these bodies, and everybody goes, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Get to the movie, it's just Rey's vision. Now fast forward to this movie, and in the trailer, we see the soldiers bowing to Superman. We see Batman tied up by Superman and held hostage by it, and everybody goes, whoa. And then we get to the movie, and it's just a dream by Bruce Wayne. It's just a horrible way to get fans pumped for a movie and then to let them down in the worst way possible. And after this movie disappoints me with the dream sequence, we finally crawl to the fight between Batman vs. Superman. Yes, I said fight as in singular. In this 2-hour movie, they only fight each other one time. But why should I be surprised? Because this movie isn't about making a good movie. It's about looking towards the next and filling it with all these characters that don't matter and all these cameos so that we can look to what we're going to make next instead of focusing on making a good movie right now. But it doesn't stop there. Now we have two main villains, Lex Luthor and Doomsday. Now, I like Jesse Eisenberg. I thought his character was decent, but it wasn't Lex Luthor. We've seen highly intelligent, psychopathic villains in superhero movies before this, and they've been done so much better.
You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not.
And when the movie finally gets to the climax, Lex Luthor is gone. He's done with the story, and all we have is Doomsday. A character who has no motivations, no real sense of purpose, or any reason why he is fighting. He's just a massive killing machine who goes around the city destroying buildings Man of Steel style. And the irony is that Batman, the one constantly blaming Superman for all the destruction that happens in the city, the one blaming him for bringing Zod here and having all these innocents die, he says, let's pull Doomsday back into the city so that we can get the Kryptonite staff and kill him with it. Why not bring that Kryptonite staff out to where Doomsday is on that uninhabited island? Doesn't make any sense to pull Doomsday back towards civilization. But either way, Doomsday fights our newly united heroes. And to me, this is by far the most boring part of the movie. It is very hard to watch a character, villain or hero, who has no real motivations for what they're doing, no real sense of character, no real sense of depth, and that is what Doomsday is. And on top of that, he's fighting the two characters that I really wanted to see duke it out the most in this movie. Batman and Superman have a clash of ideology. They have a clash on how they should handle things, how they should handle criminals. They have a clash on who they should save. They have character motivations and are complex characters. But Doomsday? No. All Doomsday is a brute to be killed. He adds no substance to this story. Characters, heroes, or villains must be relatable in some way for them to be interesting. But all these issues really come from executive producers who sit in a room and they say it must be bigger, it must be better, it must be awesome, and we have to top what we've done in the past, and we have to look in the future at the same time. And I guess Michael Bay was busy, so they go with the next best thing in Zack Snyder to add his underwhelming characters and overwhelming action to the mix. But even this is not the real problem. The real problem is an oversaturation of superhero movies. All these executives want to tap into the market right now because they know it's popular and they know people will come out to watch it no matter what it is. They just have to tack the name on there and people will show up. So they spend all their time on marketing, literally years of marketing, so much so that they overhype the movie to a crazy point and they end up suffocating the actual movie. They hurt the movies by adding cameos and dream sequences and nostalgic elements to look in the past and look in the future and look anywhere else except the movie that is happening right now. Then fans go to this movie and are surprised by the lack of substance and they walk out of the theater thinking, it was Batman fighting Superman, how did they mess that up? They want to make these movies so big and so colossal that they lose the ability to create real good characters and create a movie with real substance worth watching and worth talking about. And I think that will be what ultimately destroys the superhero genre. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave you with a quote, ironically from the director of this movie.